What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Financial Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, two claps and a Ric Flair for how excited we are. And so this is our favorite day. Woo! This is our favorite day of the week because we get to talk to you guys, about what's been going on in the market, what's going on in the world, the world of finance, which is where we live, is where we operate, it's where we like being at. Two things before we start. First off, we are not giving you financial advice. So, yes, we are licensed. However, we are not telling you what to do with your money, where to put your money, where to spend your money. Okay. We are strictly offering you our opinions about what's going on in the world. And so do as you please with that information, but don't blame it on us. All right. Don't go and sell all your Tesla because Elon's being crazy. Polka Jeremiah. This is number two. If this is one of your first times joining us, the way that we operate here on Financial Friday is each of us will take turns each week picking 3 articles that we like to talk about, which we feel highlight some of the major things that are going on in the financial market currently. And then we talk about them. So please, if you are watching, feel free to comment. We post the questions on the chat while we're talking, and we'll even answer them after the fact if we were unable to see them for some reason because of streaming software. But as it stands, we appreciate you being here. So first and foremost, now that all that's out the way, gentlemen, what's up? Obviously, I'm here with G. So Jeremiah, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm hoping that you guys are good. I just love how you handle that in an orderly fashion. I think that I want to give kudos to you. Number one, kudos on the haircut because you look about 5 years younger. Everyone doesn't know Ken is the baby. Ken's the baby of our group. Don't let the gray hair fool you. So I want to say that I'm doing great, man. I'm ready to get through it. You and G are looking fresh. You guys are over there cooking up, so I see it happening.
Hey, that's it, man. It's been a very productive day, and we're not even finished wrapping up on the whiteboard.
We're not. So we can't wait to show you. Did you show them already?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
You'll see.
So secrets and stuff, man. Over there keeping secrets. It's all good.
We're letting you be CEO.
Yeah, we're just getting the ingredients together, man.
Respect.
Yep. So my week, this is my week, to pick our articles. So, generally whoever picks them, we'll talk a lot about them and then we'll kind of chime in to see what's going on, how we feel about them and so on and so forth. So this week, 3 articles. First one, Wall Street is getting more worried about the debt ceiling. Charts show how much. So one of the big issues that's really coming out of the financial sector right now is the debt ceiling and how the U.S. is handling it. And why this plays such a big role in, honestly, global economics is because we are a superpower, right? And ultimately, we are having this fight right now with where does our U.S. dollar stand as far as the world economies are concerned? How are we operating in an environment where other countries are creating alliances to not use the US dollar for oil, which substantially impacts how our currency operates around the world? How we're doing as far as, job reports came out. And even though they look as though they are good, at the same time, the money, the show me the money is not working because the economy is still not doing all that great. So yes, people are employed, but people also aren't making enough money to survive, which is why our debt continues to climb on a national average and all the so on and so forth. But as far as Wall Street, the reason they're talking about this is because, like we said, it's a lot in here. So investors and politicians are zeroing in on whether or not the U.S. government can avoid crashing into its statutory debt ceiling and a potentially catastrophic technical default that could follow. One of the things that we are seeing in the news that I've been seeing, so for those who don't know, Glenn and I are both veterans. And one of the things I've seen recently, and I don't know if you've seen it, is that, whether what party you're a part of, this and the third, some of the parties are trying to use debt ceiling legislation, but they're undercutting it with VA benefits. So they're like, hey, we will allow this to pass, but in the underwriting of some of the legislation, it's like but we're going to cut veteran affairs funding by 20%. So we're in this weird place right now where like everybody's trying to use the debt ceiling to their advantage and try and figure out how can I get what I want? Like, oh, well, like I've never heard, it's funny because like on a personal basis, it's like I'm literally fighting to be more in debt. Like that's what it looks like from a US standpoint, right? It's like, yo, I'm going to fight with that person so I can get myself into more debt and owe more people money. At least that's how I look at it. What do y'all think?
I want you to mention which party is which. We don't play secrets on here. So mention the party, which party it is. And I'm not political. I'm an independent. I don't care about neither one. I don't like either.
So but surprisingly, the Republican Party is the one that voted against it.
That's why I wanted to mention it. That is the reason I wanted you to mention it, because the basis of their whole platform is loving and being a nationalistic party.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, the liberal Democrats are always, they're just for everybody, the open borders, blah, 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 blah. But I want people to really pay attention to this. This is super important. Our veterans are our heroes. Anytime we talk about Blue Lives Matter, I'm not here to talk about anybody in Hive or whatever, but I've always held our servicemen as our heroes. If you don't appreciate them, if you don't cherish these people, I tell Glenn and Kim all the time, thank you for your service. If you don't appreciate these guys, anyone that would volunteer to put their lives at risk for us to have the freedoms we have, I don't know what you're talking about. And so for government to come and say that we're going to take away the benefits of our heroes, that's crazy to me. Right. And for me, it's like this is a game that people are playing, and the debt ceiling being what it is now, partial of that. A lot of people talk about Biden, and I'm obviously but I'm not going there. But what I will say is this, guys, understand this: the economy is cyclical. It's an 8 to 12 year, which is now being stretched to a 15-year cycle. The stuff you're seeing now didn't really come from Biden. There's a piece of it that did, right? Yeah. But you know that it was 8 years ago. It was 12 years ago. So you kind of really that's what I'm saying. People really, you got to understand economics. You got to understand the way the economy works. You're living now off the bad decisions from the past two presidency.
Yeah.
Right. So just understand that. Everyone wants to blame Biden, and Lord knows he should take quite a bit of the blame. But, I'm not political, but I'm just saying this is crazy. The debt ceiling itself should be a uniform, right? There should be uniformity in trying to get this thing under control, because if we don't get it under control, right now we're in stagflation. We're not even, people say inflation, things going, but what happens is, like you said, people are still getting paid great on their job, right? The unemployment rate went down. So that means more people are getting higher paying jobs because they have to pay for inflation. So it's become stagflation. So if we ever want to get down, I will never get back down to 2%. I don't care what they say.
Never.
If you want to get back down between 3 and 4, you got to get it under control. Yeah, that's the pipe dream, they call it, right? Oh, we'll get back down to, you'll never get back down to 2%. It doesn't exist anymore. And so what I'll say is, you want to get back down between 3 and 4, we got to try to figure out what's going on. And the thing of it is, the basis, as you said, is the dollar is losing its strength. So you want to strengthen the dollar again and strengthen our relationships. The damage that has been done, you got to figure out how to make the dollar strong again. And we can't be borrowing from everybody, especially one of the countries that we owe them the most money, but they're the one that, they're playing chess right now. It's almost checkmate.
So let me ask you guys this, because you guys said a lot of what I wanted to kind of touch on already. A lot of words. He said a lot of words. No, but I have a question, because most of the people that watch this or rewatching this are middle class America.
Yeah.
Like, how does the debt ceiling impact or affect the middle class household? Or what are some tips or some things that you guys would suggest for people when it comes to this particular topic?
I think the biggest thing to recognize is that the less, the worse that the U.S. or government handles money as a whole, the more impactful it is on the 99% of people. because those are the people who pay all the taxes that pay off the debt.
Right.
So, like, and Rico brought up a good point earlier as far as like, a lot of people don't understand the timeline of economics and politics and how it really affects the, the future of everything.
Right.
For instance, like, the tax laws that will take effect in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Right. People who are, unfortunately, sorry to say this, uneducated will assume that was done recently.
Yeah.
When in reality, like Rico said, that was 8, 10, 12 years ago, and so that is something I think, and once again, those are those miseducations as well that like make it even worse financially for a lot of families and what they understand, right? So ultimately, the worse we are with our debt, and the more the taxpayers will pay.
And if you don't understand that, I mean, let's keep it very simple. If you're in a very affluent, if you're upper middle class and you're looking to borrow, it squeezes, right? We're already starting to see that. It starts to make it more difficult for you to borrow to, whether it's capital for your entrepreneurial endeavors, whether it's capital for purchasing new homes or investment properties. It's going to make it more difficult for you and more pricey for you to actually borrow money. And then as it loses its value, you end up upside down in some of your investments and things, and then that's ruining businesses. So if I'm middle class and I'm just working, I'm going to the plant every day, where you really see it is where I see it at the milk carton. I see it at the eggs, right? I see it in my, taking my kids on trips, because the gas is expensive. So that's where it's starting to hit you. And if you're not getting raises that are 8 to 10%, which most aren't, your merit raise is 2 to 3%, right? You're not keeping up with this. And so it just puts you deeper in the hole. You got to borrow, you're in more debt. It's a horrible cycle.
Yeah. Here's the only thing I'll say in addition to all that, this is more out to our viewers, obviously the next quarter, the next 6 months, next year, like be very, very intentional about how you're spending your money, right? Yep. Like how you're digging yourself more into debt, or if you're trying to get out of debt, like I said, be very intentional with how you're spending and what you're spending your money on. So,
yeah. I also just realized I got a comment. You sound really good, Rico. Is that a new mic?
Yes. We've been working on this. My technical guy Cam and my aesthetic person Glenn told me I had to work on my presentation, so I've been working on my presentation.
Level up.
Hey, education doesn't just change situations, presentations. No,
implementation. And implementation.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. That's the new lingo. Implementation changes situations.
I'm getting
that's another T-shirt.
I'm gonna get a tattoo of that.
Trademark.
For sure.
Trademark. So second article I chose was which falls kind of in line with what we're talking about is Fed can still achieve soft landing, Bullard says. So the president or the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis president James Bullard, excuse me. So he's saying we could potentially cool inflation as we see rates push higher, as we've seen recently, right? So the aggressive policy we pursued in the last 15 months, once again, timelines. 15 months has stemmed the rise in inflation, but it is not so clear we are on a path to 2%. Bullard told reporters following an event in Minneapolis Friday. So like Rico said a second ago, 2% is a pipe dream at this point for now on. Like, we're not going to hit it more than likely. If we can cool the 3 to 4%, that's honestly going to be more realistic for the foreseeable future, right? And the reason that they're bringing this to attention is because too many people are thinking like, oh, that's where we're getting back to. That's not what we're getting back to. We're trying to get back to an average between where we are at now and what this, once in a lifetime interest rate time was because of everything that happened. And so once again, we are seeing rate hikes again, and I think it's funny because every week, what do they say? Oh, just one more.
Yeah.
Hey, just one more. And so, and that's affecting honestly everything, like I just closed on my house, or I'm about to, and it was like, which is a good rate, by the way, 5.62%, like what is it?
Right.
What is it? 2 years ago, I'd be
We were
like,
just talking about-
get that disgusting thing out of my face. And now I'm like, oh, goody, it's not 7%.
Yeah.
And these are the too many times we hold on to like what was and don't understand what is and what's going to be, especially when it comes to like the finances, taxes, and all those types of things. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and we were talking about the difference between like pre and post tax, right? So right now, a lot of people are, everyone, pre-tax. Yeah, that'd be great if the future taxes weren't going to be astronomical.
Right.
So now is actually the time you want to do post-tax, because the tax rates right now are way more beneficial than they would be later on, especially when you have a larger amount of money.
We should do a class on that.
I mean, we will. But the Jeremiah
Pay your
Ready, what you
Pay your taxes now. Pay your taxes now, people. Pay your taxes now. There's a smaller amount of money. You're in a lower bracket. Not to mention, tax brackets are going to shift, right? January 1st, 2026. Pay your taxes now. Let's be wise about it. Everybody, right? We've been kind of indoctrinated, like you said, Cam, about, hey, pay later, pay deferred, right? Or at some mystery rate, whatever that's going to be. Pay your taxes now. It's cheaper. Go ahead and pay them. Put your post money into something. Obviously, like you said, we should do a class. I guess we should. What I'll say with this is, let's be realistic. What America really needs to happen is, it's like, okay, they're gonna keep raising the rates. It's not gonna stop. They've done 10 of them, right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. It's gonna keep happening. Okay. Only way to try to cool what's happening. What America would have to do is credit card companies, not banks, because banks, we see where they're at right now. Credit card companies would have to start extending either extended payments or more credit, additional credit in the thousands to people, and not raise their interest rates on paying back that credit. Well, why are you talking about that? What I'm saying is it's because the prices of houses are shifting up, right? Everything's shifting up. Something has to stay the same, which allows for leverage for the American people to come and utilize that entity, right? To go and pay for whatever else is that's going on. It can't be cash. Cash is tied to obviously all the different things that are occurring. Cash is tied to the market, right? I mean,
it can't be on the daily.
Right.
It can't be cash, right? And so credit is the only thing. It's the one thing that can have as we talked about uniformity in the last article, just uniformly across the board, credit could help straighten out a lot of different things, right? If credit card companies were like, you know what, we're going to give you an extra $3,000. If you're at this place, we're going to give you an extra $20,000 to just, hey, we understand things are going on. Go and use it wisely. We understand. We're also going to release the holds of us, going in and actually reporting derogatory marks when you utilize more than 30% of your credit limit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if they would do that, that would put America in the right place. And allow everybody to kind of have the room that they need to have until this thing is kind of figured out. Obviously, that's probably not going to happen, even though they've showed crazy gains. American Express and Visa both were up. So that's yeah. But when I look at it, that's what I'm looking at, because that's the only soft landing you're going to have. Because really, if you look at the rates, like I said, we're in stagflation. They're competing with each other because the job market keeps lowering. Right, they have to pay people more at the jobs, which means the price of the dollar, right, and it's decreasing. And then you got rates that continue to go up, so you can't really buy out. Like, there's all this stuff, and it's all happening at once. And by the way, China's economy is flourishing. That does not help. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, I would be interested to see if we do move in that direction with the credit card, or just credit, right? Because then, again, while the idea on paper sounds phenomenal, because of the lack of education, increasing, giving someone an extra 5 figures, they go on, unfortunately.
And that's the problem.
There.
Yeah. And that's the problem, because you see right now, even with stocks, you see luxury brands, their stocks are soaring.
Killing
right.
It.
Yeah.
Right. But what is that really? That's really millennials or Generation Z people living at home with their parents, so they don't have to pay bills as much, and they're going to spending that excess instead of putting it into something that can double over, get in with their parents and trying to figure out a plan. They're going to buy Louis V and all this other things. That's why Arnold is the richest person in the world. Yeah. And so I understand credit card companies saying, well, we just We honestly can't do that because it's just bad business for us.
Mhm.
But that would like literally credit, right? An extension of credit or kind of laying off of the strict levels at the credit line, that would help though. I think
Yeah.
that's me. That's what I see.
Yeah. If that happens, we need to do a tour, a financial literacy tour, and like really drive in,
Bro.
just financial literacy, man.
Do
So
not buy the Jordans. Put the Jordans down. Put the Louis, put the red bottoms down. You don't need those. Don't do it. Put them down.
I buy
Yeah.
my clothes at Costco.
Yeah.
So it's funny you said that because that was something that I was actually thinking about before we hopped on today. Is like, how funny is that we have a system that is built on the merit of credit utilization when our country as a whole would have like a 400 credit score or even worse.
They have a 350.
Boom.
That's the lowest you could have.
There you go. We have our but like Rico is saying, like, but we can't understand the situation that all the citizens are actually in. We're like, hey, we understand you may have to utilize more, so we're not going to ding you. You still got to pay your bills,
right?
But we understand you gotta, you're going to have a little bit more, right? And I think that's like ludicrous.
Interesting,
man. Oh, buddy. All right, next one.
I would love to hear the people watching, our viewers rewatching this, definitely comment on these two topics that we just talked about.
Yeah. If you didn't catch it, don't worry. I do recaps every Friday. So this article actually, Rico, you dropped this in the Slack. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd actually like to kind of hear your views on it as far as the AMD stock rise on report of team up with Microsoft on AI chips.
Yeah, my top pick. I like it.
I put this in for G, right? Because we're always talking about AI. G loves AI, right? Everybody should love AI. You should be trying to figure out how to utilize it. We gave a class not too long ago. We were talking about prompt engineering, right? I gave you some tips about prompt engineering. Go watch that. But this is what I want to say about this article and the reason why I posted. ChatGPT came in, totally revolutionized the game.
Yep.
We don't know how long but AI's been around for a super long time. You utilize it, you didn't even realize it. ChatGPT just took it and made it to where it was universally utilized, right? It was in the palm of your hand, and you realized you could use it for whatever you want to use it for.
Yep.
Now, OpenAI is the parent company of ChatGPT.
Yep.
Correct? Microsoft put in $10 billion into OpenAI, which basically they own OpenAI, right? That was the first move. Microsoft moves that piece. Moves the piece, right? Google comes out with whatever they come out with. It's horrible. Should have done the beta. I'm sorry, Google. I love Google, but it's horrible. It was horrible, right? That messed them up in the market share. Microsoft sat back, saw it. Microsoft then goes and does the partnership with AMD, which is a chip manufacturer. We're like, what does that mean? What it means is Microsoft has now bridged the gateway, right, in AI space and artificial intelligence space between the software, right, application, you have software, Microsoft, application, ChatGPT, OpenAI, and the hardware with AMD. That's checkmate. That's it. It's done. I don't care. Google, anybody else you can come out with, whatever you want to come out with. Microsoft killed it. That's it. It's checkmate. Perfect moves, perfectly executed. I think this is something super phenomenal. If you don't have stock in Microsoft, which everyone should, obviously, but if you don't have it, get in it. If you don't have AMD, because you were probably in NVIDIA, NVIDIA is still good, nothing against it. AMD, get it. OpenAI, you'll see IPO, you'll see that come. I mean, just stick with Microsoft and AMD. You can't go wrong. This is a phenomenal partnership. It blew my mind because I was like, Jesus, how did I not see this coming? Like it was a perfect partnership. I was like, geez, it's over with. There's no more competition. That's it. That's game, set, match.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
So being as you're not techie normally, so what Rico just said as far as why that's so instrumental, like from a software standpoint, do you know why that's like such a big deal as far as like the AMD and then partnering with Microsoft for AI?
My initial response is no, but my backup to yes is, I mean, so seeing where we're going in the world. It just makes sense. So the first thing that popped in my head as Rico was talking about, I was like, yo, that's a super strategic move. Like it makes perfect sense. And for them to kind of be the leading, one of the leading companies to take the risk and execute on it, it just makes sense. So for me, I was just like, it's all making sense.
So for the people, so the reason why is because AI, which a lot of people don't know, it requires so much power from a computer and things like that. AMD is a huge microchip company. So what they're pretty much saying is like, oh, now you're going to be the microchip company that we push our AI stuff through.
Right.
So that's why it's like this ingenious, partnership, because, Microsoft now has Copilot and all that stuff, which I'm waiting for, by the way. Microsoft.
Phenomenal.
Did you already have it? Did you get it yet?
No, I didn't get it yet. I'm going to get it, but Copilot is freaking phenomenal. I think that's going to revolutionize productivity in the workspace.
Bro, I can't wait. Like just to like, I hate Microsoft Teams. I just gotta say that. Like that.
I like it. What's wrong with it?
So here's the reason why I have an adulterated view of it because of the government. Microsoft Teams. He knows what I'm talking about. So I haven't had a lot of experience with it outside of that realm. And with military comes VPNs and their own special version. But anyways,
I'll tell you, outside of that, in the corporate world, for me in a corporate entity, I'm in the top 500 company in the chemical space. It was phenomenal.
That's what I've heard.
It worked great.
Yeah.
It was killing Zoom.
And that's what I heard is like the functionality. And so I'm excited for Copilot to come out because of like the hopping on a Teams call. You sit with the client, it does a transcript for you. Then the transcript can be sent to PowerPoint. That can create a PowerPoint for you based off what the client talked about. You can put the PowerPoint in the note into a spreadsheet about that client. Like it's just
I seen something today. Cam was showing me something today. I was just like, another game changer. Like,
and you start to take that information, right? And you have the number one application of AI currently, which is ChatGPT.
Yep.
So it's like I got the chip, I got the hardware, I got the software, and I got the application to make it all happen, and it all just comes together. It's blockbuster, man. That's going to be crazy. Copilot's crazy. Yeah, I think I'm going to love that. Less work for me. You can just use more of the brain, right? Less of the whole. I hate typing. Everyone that knows me knows, like, man, I'll type you. You'll type me a whole bunch of. You'll type me a paragraph. If I type you a paragraph, like in a text, I'm really into it. Like I'm really trying to get a point over to you. Other than that, it's no. My wife hates it. My wife, she gives me the super intricate, and I'm like, and she's like,
that sounds cool.
That's cool. So all this AI stuff has been right up my alley, man. Because when you're able to prompt and able to convey your thoughts or your ideas or the questions that you're trying to convey, when you're able to convey that into the AI, man, it gives you everything you want.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can do that. I can give you a couple sentences to tell you what I want, and then you spit everything back out at me. Oh, I'm loving it.
Yep. I heard so as we end, I legitimately heard about a legal professional who uses ChatGPT to run their profession, their office.
That doesn't surprise me, but the direction that we're going.
The colleges are trying to hone in on who does. I'm like, give it up.
You're never going to do it.
And what I love about ChatGPT, hopefully, God, I hope this, you guys know I'm controversial. I hope it just destroys the whole educational system.
I do too.
Because it needs to. Like, it needs to destroy it. College is a scam. So it just needs to Are you intelligent enough to prompt or to understand what it is that you're talking about? Can you come in and speak on what you wrote the paper about? That's really what it should be. As long as you can do that, dude, come on, give them the A and get out of the way.
That's exactly what I said. I had a friend of mine recently who, like, their son got in trouble. He's a 7th grader. He got in trouble because he used ChatGPT to write. Here's the funny thing. He had to write an argumentative paper about why they shouldn't have homework. And he used ChatGPT.
It was phenomenal.
It was like a master's level. And they were like, you didn't write this. And they was like, wait. And it was funny because you saw two sides of the fence. Like on one side, my friend was just like, oh, he's cheating and how could he do that? Now, and on the other side was me. I was like, I mean, is it really cheating though? Like, one, they didn't say he couldn't do that. And two, I mean, are we really going to hold back our children for the future because of an outdated, antiquated system? I said, realistically, what they should have done is made them do presentations on the information. So I think it's funny you said that, because that was like, then realistically, even if you did get it off ChatGPT, you were forced to learn it to the point where you had to give a presentation on it.
Right.
Each one, teach one.
Think outside the box.
So that being said, as we end it off, we appreciate you all. Please, join us every Friday, 3 p.m. PST. Like, love, share. Let us know what you like. Hit us up with any questions. Other than that, we will see you guys later, and you have a good rest of your week.
See you guys.
Peace.